I pressed all the here to speak. Just go ahead. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. We're glad you're here with us this evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Trustee Houston, would you lead us in the pledge? Raise the flag, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. We're glad you're here with us this evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Trustee Houston, would you lead us in the pledge? Thank you. That's the first time I've heard everybody say that together for so long. You know, on Zoom, you hear like one person and then you hear like, it's like an echo. You know, I pledge allegiance, I pledge allegiance, you know. So that's marvelous. Thank you. Our first item on the agenda is the public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. I believe we have some. You know, on Zoom, you hear like one person and then you hear like, it's like an echo. You know, I pledge allegiance, I pledge allegiance, you know. So that's marvelous. Thank you. Our first item on the agenda is the public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. I believe we have some. You know, on Zoom, you hear like one person and then you hear like, it's like an echo. You know, I pledge allegiance, you know. So that's marvelous. Okay. Our first item on the agenda is the public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. I believe we have some. Excellent. Thank you very much. Can't believe everybody came here for nothing. So that's marvelous. Okay. Our first item on the agenda is all right. First up is Beverly Powell. Thank you very much. Ms. Powell. I believe everybody came here for nothing. No, I saw her earlier. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Greetings, board members. Hello. Old faces I haven't seen in a while. I mean, not old. I just meant people I hadn't seen in a while, but we've been close. My name is Beverly Powell, and I'm so glad to see you all here. All of these people who have turned out. It gives me so much pleasure to be an advocate in favor of naming a building in honor of Lois J. Carson. Mrs. Carson, my name is Beverly Powell, and like I'm so glad to in her service. She was turned out more than a trail. It gives me so much pleasure. She was the first be an advocate to serve on San Bernardino College in honor of Board of Trustees. She served as a trustee 24 years, and it just wasn't local service that she gave. She served on the national level 7 years on the board of the Association of Community College Trustees and the Accrediting Commission for Community College Trustees. But today, on behalf of the San Bernardino Valley College, she served foundation national level 7 years after serving those 24 years on as a trustee. Mrs. Carson and the Accrediting Commission on the Valley College's foundation board, where she established today, on Lois Carson Scholarship, San Bernardino thousands and thousands of dollars to so many deserving females who were able to participate in her giving. Mrs. Carson, like I said before, she guided our paths, and for many of us, she monetarily thousands provided assistance. She As a foundation board member, she served as president a few times, but she also served as guided our chairperson of board development on that foundation. And one of the things that she taught us and that we have adopted as policy on that foundation is if you're going to serve on a foundation, then you give time and you give money because that is what is needed. And how, Rose Carson's words, how can you ask somebody to give when you're not investing yourself? So again, that is part of the policy that we have adopted, and we just absolutely have made her. I mean, before she retired from our foundation board, we made her member emeritus, and so forever she reigns true in our hearts, and we will follow her example. The other person or the other group that I'm representing is the National Council of Negro Women. Okay, I'm starting new 3 minutes now with the National Council. Okay.
I should acknowledge that Miss Powell is a former trustee of our district. Thank you for her service and putting us on the rules.
Okay, starting new minutes now. On behalf of the National Council of Negro Women Incorporated, the Inland Empire section, Mrs. Carson, I'll give you a little background, quick background of the National Council of Negro Women. It's a national organization started in 1935 by Mary McLeod Bethune, and she is absolutely prominent in Black history. You will see pictures of her with Franklin D. Roosevelt, all Black men, Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois, and you will see the only Black woman in that picture. She is absolutely prominent. She was an educator that was absolutely renowned throughout the country. And so what Mrs. Carson wanted to do was start an Inland Empire section of the National Council of Negro Women. And so what she did was she gathered 12 women and to discuss starting a local section. And in 1968, those 12 women had talked to other 12 women, and my mother's included in those 12 women. And anyway, they got 50 women so that this started to discuss starting a local. That's how long the Inland Empire section of the National Council of Negro Women has been around. What we did in the National Council of Negro Women, our section, and we continue to do today, is take the last plank of Mary McLeod Bethune's legacy, her last will and testament, where she says, "I leave you a responsibility to young people." And so Mrs. Carson, we followed that vision. Mrs. Carson led the way and was the first president of the Inland Empire section of NCNW. And so we started a Bethune Center where she says, "I leave you." Cheryl Brown is around, but I hope I'm not so. Mrs. Carson, one of the things that Mrs. Carson did was she handpicked, led the way, and was the first president who has a Black voice. She handpicked her and said, "I want you to run the checkmate because these hospitals are not accepting Black girls to be candy stripers." And so that was part of Lois Carson's leadership. Again, her vision, her guidance, and her organization put everyone to work. She united people. Mrs. Carson could get disparate groups that had distinctly different missions and elements to work together on a unifying goal. When she developed the brilliant idea of Blood of the Martyrs, where she organization, blood bank in San Bernardino, and on Martin Luther King's birthday, everybody would give blood rather than groups go shopping. Distinctly different missions. Again, that has spread throughout 2 counties. The brilliant idea of churches, sororities, fraternities, where a League of Women Voters, so many organizations now take part in that. So again, my time is short. that has spread throughout 2 counties. And again, it's so much pleasure to advocate on her behalf for all that she has done to this for this district, this community, and so many people throughout the country and even in other continents because she was a world traveler. Thank you. To this for this
Next up, Taylor Williams.
so many people throughout the country and even in other continents because she was a world traveler. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna follow that one. So I am Mr. Carson North Carson's granddaughter. I'm Taylor Williams. I'm also a San Bernardino College, Valley College alumna. I also was on the board, the scholarship board with her. Well, with Ms. Rodriguez. Ms. Gammy had left the year prior to, so I kind of took her spot on the board. I'm Taylor Williams. Why should this building be named after her? I just say, why not? I also was on the board, the scholarship board. Well, with Ms. She served San Bernardino. She served San Bernardino education. She wanted to solve poverty. She wanted to make sure that it be named after her. Everybody had access to the same education she was able to have access to. She left her footprint at San Bernardino Valley College. I know that for sure. And she served San Bernardino education. She wanted to solve. I feel like poverty. She wanted to make it more than an honor. I feel like this is just what I feel like should be done. She's done so much for San Bernardino Valley College alone. Being on the board, I was able to see firsthand all the work that goes into it. And being a student at San Bernardino Valley College, I see the need that I feel like, and that was something she was able to see more than an honor. I feel like San Bernardino Valley College, I feel like should be done. She created Black Future Leaders, a program to help middle school. Being on the board, I was able to see firsthand all the work. Think about the future, think about college, and start putting things in place for that. And that program helped them to do so. She was a very forward thinker, and she really molded a lot of minds that came in contact with her family or not. I know I wouldn't be who I am without her, and I know I'm not the only one who can say that. College and start. I don't know if it's been 3 minutes, and that program helped them. I do believe she deserves this more than anybody else. But I'm biased. And I just hope you guys see contact with her family or not. All of you had an opportunity to meet her. If not, I know I'm not the only one. Sorry. She was a wonderful woman. And I appreciate your time. I do believe she deserves this more than anybody else with this bias. And I just hope you guys see contact with her family or not. All of you had an opportunity to meet her. If not, no, I'm not the only one. Sorry. She was a wonderful woman. And I appreciate your time.
Good afternoon, honorable trustees, Chancellor Rodriguez. I'm Robert Nava, and I'm the Vice President for University Advancement at Cal State San Bernardino. And I bring greetings also from President Tomas Morales. I'm here this afternoon both in my capacity as an officer of CSUSB. Good afternoon. I'm also here as a citizen and a person that had the privilege. I'm the Vice President for University Advancement working at Cal State San Bernardino. Carson for I bring greetings also from dating back to my days at UC Riverside many years ago. Both in my capacity as an officer. Earlier today, President Morales and Chancellor, a number of us had the privilege of being with the Carson family and the vice president at the service, the celebration of this incredible life. I just wanted to share a little bit about Mrs. Carson that I thought earlier today, President Morales and Chancellor, as a human being, had the privilege, really as an angel on earth. From the obit, the service this morning, it says, some people go through life I just wanted as best they can. Some people excel. That I thought earlier today, Carson excelled at life, and every being she set her mind to. Angel on earth. To know her was not only an honor, but an experience. This morning, an experience that she people go through offered. I just want her family and to her friends and to everyone. Excel. I thought that partially captured. Carson excelled at life, the essence a human being, extraordinary mind too. On earth, to know her was not at Cal State San Bernardino. An experience. Mrs. Carson was an active member of the Alumni Association. She was part of the very first inaugural graduating class of 1967. By the way, there were only 300 American graduates in that class. On earth, her work at Cal State San Bernardino for increasing the number of African American students and other students from underserved communities to continue their education at Cal State San Bernardino. She was also a product of the master plan, right? Because she had her educational experiences at the community college, Cal State, and then went on to receive two masters and other students from underserved communities. When she was at UCR, she was the director of Upward Bound. And we all know that program. And I thought it was so fitting because Mrs. Carson not only was the director of Upward Bound, but she uplifted all of us with her life and her example. When she was at UCR, so I'm going to conclude, trustees, by saying we very much know that program. And I thought it was so fitting because your consideration not only was a director this extraordinary life, but she uplifted all of us. So with that, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. So I'm going to conclude by saying we very much know that program. I thought it was so fitting because consideration not only was a director this extraordinary life, but she uplifted all of us. So with that, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. So I'm going to conclude.
To the trustees and Chancellor Rodriguez. My name is Annette Streeter. I am president of Ada Nu Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And we are the organization that Lois Carson spent a lot of time with. I don't know how she was able to do all this other stuff, because she spent a lot of time with us. And just a little background information about us. Ada Nu Omega Chapter. Our organization has 1,026 graduate and undergraduate chapters in 55 nations in all 50 states, with over 300,000 sorority sisters. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. So we are about to celebrate 60 years. Nations in all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. So we are about to celebrate 60 years. Nations in all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. So we are about to celebrate 60 years. Nations in all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. So we are about to celebrate 60 years. Nations in all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. So we are about to celebrate 60 years. Nations in all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. So we are about to celebrate 60 years. Nations in all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. So we are about to celebrate 60 years. Nations in all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. We are about to celebrate 60 years. 5 nations and all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. We are about to celebrate 60 years. 5 nations and all 50 states. We're currently focused in areas such as exposing and educating students. We currently have 125 active members serving the Riverside and San Bernardino counties since October 1961. We are about to
Thank you. Betsy Starbuck.
You all are celebrating her devotion to education as well you should, and we add our advocacy and support for naming the building in her honor. But besides education, Lois was committed to civics education and to getting out the vote. And in this time, nationwide, when we're seeing so much effort to restrict the ability of people to vote, we at the League of Women Voters are working tirelessly to encourage people to get out and vote. And I want to remind everyone here, there's a recall election on September 14th. Register now, and ballots will be going out tomorrow. So, that aside, we appreciate the opportunity to address you and to add our admiration and respect and just the absolute joy of knowing Lois Carson. I had the pleasure of meeting her in 1982, and Taylor, I don't know if you know this, but your grandmother recently paid your membership. So we will. So thank you very much, and appreciate your time.
Thank you. Danny Tillman.
When we were there, we had an event, and they didn't want us to have a dance there, and that's how I met Lois, because the dance was canceled, and Mr. Walker was our advisor, and he said, hey, I can't do anything else because for fear of losing my job, but I got a lady who Mike would be willing to talk to me. And Lois Carson was the person who called me back at 8 o'clock that night to say, what's the problem and what can we do? And after she talked to me, she said, if I resolve the issue and allow you guys to have your event tomorrow, then you have to promise to work on my campaign. And that was my introduction to politics. And I've been on the school board for 26 years now in San Bernardino because of Lois Carson. Someone said earlier, Lois Carson was a member of the trustees for 24 years. But I hope you don't lose sight of the fact that it was a different time and a different era. And the Board of Trustees did not look or feel the way it feels and looks right now. Lois Carson was an African-American woman on a board with white males. in a society that was totally different than today. And Lois told me stories of the challenges that she had, but she was the woman for it. It's actually should be a privilege for you to have the ability to name a building after Lois Carson. And I honestly believe if you can't name a building after Lois J. Carson, then there should be no names on the buildings. The member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority said that she had the most time with Lois, she's lying. Because Black Future Leaders had the most time with Lois Carson. And Black Future Leaders is a program where we take students that are leaving middle school with a 3.0 GPA, going to high school. And Lois and her group that formed Black Future Leaders found that those students who perform, African-American students who perform well in middle school, will go into high school and start failing classes. And they weren't gonna allow it. So they decided to identify those students, create a program, and encourage those students to tell them the importance of their education. And we kept those students in the program for the 4 years to ensure that they went on to college. Because she knew those were our best and brightest, and we weren't gonna take the risk of them not being successful. There are two of them here tonight. I know Vanessa, stand up, Vanessa, and Kiana Charles. Where's Kiana? They're here tonight. As a testament. And I do want to tell you that Lois was my mentor. And one thing Lois didn't do was take no for an answer. So I'm hoping that you all name a building after her. But understand, we have a lot of energy and we'll be back in case you decide not to. Thank you very much.
Pat Nichols.
Well, good evening, trustees. I'm Patricia Nichols Butler, and I'm the CEO of Community Action Partnership, San Bernardino County. And also, good evening, Chancellor Rodriguez. So happy to see you sitting here at the dais. Tonight, I want to just share with you the impact Lois Carson had, not only in Riverside County for 30 years, but as you all know, San Bernardino County was her home. And so I had the honor to work with Lois as the Director of Community Action Partnership. I've been in this work for 48 years, so I'm not going to try and compare with Danny and the others, but I think I've known Lois a considerable amount of time. But she impacted my life. She's been a mentor to me in my role. Actually, Lois Carson was the Deputy Director of Community Action Partnership in San Bernardino. And then I went on to become the Deputy Director for 17 years of Community Action Partnership in San Bernardino. I don't know if you know about my family, but we were born and raised in San Bernardino. It's 8 of us. We've lost 1. And my mother taught us that our life is about service. Lois Carson is the epitome of a public servant. I will never forget. She served on our poverty symposium well after she had retired. She continued to attend national conferences of the Community Action Network in Washington, D.C. Years after she retired. She put on workshops. She talked about what made a community action agency. Her legacy is so beyond any building. I think Danny has said it best. The question is, why wouldn't we name a building after Lois J. Carson? I just want to share with you, because I know I only have 3 minutes, I just want to share with you the impact. So as an organization that's focused on poverty, Lois always said, the surest path out of poverty is education. And she didn't just make those statements, she walked the talk. Those statements were real to her, and she created a pathway for anyone who wanted an education to get an education. I also serve on the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation Board, and so I'm representing that board tonight as well. I'm on that board because Lois picked up the phone and said, we need more people of color on this board. So Patricia, I'm expecting you to join the board. And as Danny said, you don't tell Lois Carson no. So in the last minutes that I have, and I will enter the full letters into the record, I have a letter from our National Executive Director, Denise Harlow, and I want you to know that this represents over 1,000 community action agencies nationwide. Our entire mission is focused on addressing poverty, and our goal is to lift individuals out of poverty and give them a pathway to economic stability. Every one of those 1,000 community action agencies has that as their core mission. And so in the letter that is written by Denise Harlow, it says, on behalf of the National Community Action Foundation, on the behalf of the National Community Action Partnership, 1,000 community action agencies and state associations we represent, I would like to show support for the naming of a building in remembrance of Lois J. Carson. Because of her long-standing leadership as a human servant and a community leader, we regarded Lois as a community action legacy leader. Her brand as a dedicated former executive director of Community Action Partnership Riverside County, former president of the National Board of Directors for the partnership, National Community Action Professional Commissioner. She founded a commission that would give certification to anyone who worked in a community action agency to show that you were accredited to be a professional working in that agency, helping people be lifted out of poverty. In addition, she served on the National Equity and Economic Mobility Commissioner, shaped the future and our national network. She was an extraordinary individual, and we find it only fitting that her memory be commemorated through the naming of this building recognition. Lois was a drum major for justice and shared humanity for all people, and she embodied the service to others until her last breath. And I'll leave the rest of the letter for the record, and I'll give it to the board. But I remember talking to Lois, and she said to me, I said, Lois, you're retired, you're still coming in, you're serving at our poverty symposium. She said, I'm gonna die living. That's what she said. So I'm sure if anybody knew Lois, we called them Carsonisms. And so one of the ones I'll always remember, she said, Patricia, if you're not at the meeting, you're on the menu. So make sure you're at the meeting. She had so many, but another one I will always remember, she said, we were born in politics and we'll die in politics. But I don't think this is political. I think this is really about giving recognition to someone who is well deserving of it, more deserving than I can ever imagine. Anyone who would dedicate to just the community college over 50 years, that's a testament. And that's just one segment of her life. The other letter that I will leave for the record is from our State Association of Community Action Agencies that represents over 60 agencies in California. It says, Lois is a name that should live on as a symbol of steadfastness and strength. She defined education and advocacy by exhibiting the highest quality of giving, and I can think of no better place to memorialize her efforts than on a building on your campus. Thank you for your consideration. And the last statement is, your academic community and your partners would benefit greatly to have an opportunity to see and speak her name, learn her story, and use her memory and legacy to inspire the lives of others. Thank you, and I certainly hope that we will get the building named after Lois Carson. Thank you so much.
Dr. Anthony Blacksher.
Greetings, everyone. It is interesting to see you outside of the boxes. Today must be an important day. I am wearing pants. Lois J. Carson's accomplishments and her impact on the San Bernardino Community College District have been well described, well documented, and well acknowledged by our community. I am compelled to speak today as a department chair of sociology, as a member of academic senate, as a former member of the honors program, as a member of that, as a member of that. It's a lot of hats that I wear, and though I do not speak for all of them, I speak in conversations with each of them. I'm compelled to speak from the values of shared responsibility, mutual faith, and trust. These are the values of J.W. McDaniel, who retired as superintendent in 1969 after serving Valley College and the San Bernardino Community College District for more than 25 years. I know these values as well as the bespectacled face, buzz cut, and slightly welcoming grin, because I pass by these values every morning, every afternoon, and every evening when I enter my office in the J.W. McDaniel Language Arts Building. J.W. McDaniel is the first face to greet me, and the honorary plaque with his values of shared responsibility, mutual faith, and trust is reinforced whenever I leave my office to teach a class, to meet with colleagues and students, and when engaging with community as a representative of Valley College. While the mission of San Bernardino Valley College and the Community College District suggest an educational environment that invites and promotes diversity, the looming gaze of McDaniel's photo looking down on us as we enter and exit the building subtly, subconsciously, and on very tough days overtly reinforces the fear and outsider status that many of our communities have of color about institutions in higher education, which is that we don't belong. Now, this is in no way a criticism of McDaniel's honor, but rather it is a reminder that representation matters. In our communities, names matter. Last year, following the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, the college and the district followed institutions and industries nationwide in examining their own practices of anti-Black racism, institutionally, structurally, systemically, systematically, and pertinent today symbolically. I can think of no clearer indifference to Black students, members of our Black communities, and Black faculty and staff than to not have the Louis J. Carson building. To quote Darby English, Black representational space matters. A name is a point of research. It sparks curiosity. It will lead students to understand the struggle of Black communities in the inland region following the Second Great Migration and the struggle for educational access following the civil rights movements. Our students will learn our history because they see and they will say Lois J. Carson's name. The legacies of the folks in here are directly connected and traceable through the honor of Lois J. Carson. I am here because of the barriers broken by Lois J. Carson. I chose a career at San Bernardino Valley College to continue the work and service that Lois J. Carson began. So it is in the spirit of shared responsibility, in the spirit of mutual faith, in the spirit of trust, that I look forward to teaching sociology in the Lois J. Carson building, room 253, or at least walking by and being reminded of her words, her worth, and her work. Thank you.
Dr. Judy D. White.
Good evening, Board and Chancellor. I want you to be able to hear me. Lois, L, legendary. O, outstanding. I, inspirational. And S, sacrificial. My name is Dr. Judy White. I recently retired as Riverside County Superintendent of Schools, but I was the former Deputy Superintendent of San Bernardino City. I'm here as a human being, having been impacted by Lois's life. I'm a San Bernardino native. On my journey, I graduated from Cajon High School. Lois impacted my life as a youth, when I was a teacher, a principal, a district leader. We all need a role model and a proven role model. And she was the history maker and stereotype breaker that helped me to realize that I can become whatever I chose to be. When people impact the lives of every generation and propel the trajectory of our youth to reach the pinnacles of their career, they should be honored. One of the highest honors is to name a building in their memory. I thank you in advance for the honoring you will give to honor Lois Carson for the life that she did live. I thank you in advance for knowing the decision that you make will be appreciated in our community. Our gratitude will overtake. Lois, L, legendary. O, outstanding. I, inspirational. And S, sacrificial. Dr. Martin Luther King said, whatever your life's work, do it well. Do it so well that the living, the dead, and the unborn can do it no better. And that is the quote that describes Lois. I appreciate you and I thank you in advance.
Kiana Charles.
Good evening, trustees and Chancellor Rodriguez. My name is Kiana Charles, and I too am here to urge the board to name a permanent building on the campus after Mrs. Lois J. Carson. Mrs. Carson was an advocate for, obviously, higher education, self-improvement, and she was a true community champion. She's someone who personified all of those things, and she lived a life well and a life full of service. But I think the greatest honor that we can give her today is to remember and proudly recognize her lasting contributions and her legacy to this community and campus. I am personally grateful for the time that I spent learning and growing under Mrs. Carson. I met her in the program called Black Future Leaders, and you've heard of that program from Danny Tillman. And our paths crossed many times since my 8th grade year at Richardson Prep High. And I joined many organizations because of her, because you can't say no to Mrs. Carson. You just can't. She even encouraged me to apply for a fellowship program in Sacramento. And at the time, I didn't realize how prestigious and how competitive that program was, but she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And my time in Sacramento in that fellowship program was amazing, but it was life-changing, and I owe it to Mrs. Carson. She had the ability to steer careers and to motivate people into action, and she recognized and she spotted future leaders, but more importantly, she nurtured them. And it's hard to say how many thousands of students and people she motivated, and she encouraged and she inspired along the way, but I know of one for sure. And she will forever be that unforgettable mentor and friend. And I am honored to stand here before you this evening and ask that you consider to name a building on the campus of San Bernardino Valley College after Mrs. Lois J. Carson. Thank you.
That concludes public comments. I have to tell you, often in these meetings, I fight back tears. They're never happy. Today they're happy. Thanks, guys. Okay, moving on. Approval of minutes. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of July 8th and July 29th?
I move.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I don't have to take a roll call vote. This is marvelous. On Zoom, you have to take a roll call vote over and over again. All right, student trustees, how do you vote? You can vote together for the acceptance of minutes. Yeah.
I move to approve the minutes.
Oh, we have a motion and a
Okay.
second, so we just need an aye or a no. Thank you. This just seems weird, just to say trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, yeah, no roll call. I just forgot.
Yeah,
I've
no
been
roll
waiting.
call. Yeah. It's been a long time. Okay, thank you. So the minutes are approved. All right, moving on to the next item, which is celebrations and presentations. If you could put up the applause cards, please. All right. This, for anybody who's new to this, is where we recognize when someone has turned in information about somebody to say thank you or job well done. And so they're always part of our agendas, and you can see that there are many, many people that have been recognized by their peers, and when they come up, we applaud. So together. And there are always lots because we have an outstanding staff at the San Bernardino Community College District. So, excellent. And you can read them in the agenda as well. Apparently this has been an unusually positive month. Diane? All right. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Next item under celebrations and presentations is the recognition of employee anniversaries. So we see those are up on there as well. We recognize pivotal years, first years, fifth years, 10th years, things like that. And I want you to notice at the top, I can't see that far, but I believe that number is larger than 5. 49 years. So congratulations. And congratulations for reaching those goals, everyone. I don't know what a systems analyst did 49 years ago. I think it's different than what they do now. Okay. So congratulations to all of those employees for reaching those years. We're still going and we're still above 10 years. How many organizations can say that? It's really amazing. All right. It's good when they don't leave in the first 5 years too, right?
That's a lot of
All right. Fantastic. Okay, so congratulations to everybody that has hit a milestone year. Moving on to the action agenda. Item A, Resolution 2021-08-12, BOT-01, Juneteenth National Independence. May I have a motion and a second for discussion?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Discussion? All right. Student trustees, what is your vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
It passes unanimously with we have 3 trustees missing this evening, but that does constitute a quorum, so it passes unanimously. Excellent. Moving on to action item 2, Resolution 2021-08-12, BOT-02, honoring Lois J. Montgomery. May I have a motion and a second for discussion? Thank you.
Second?
And we, in terms of discussion, we've put up on the screen the resolution honoring the accomplishments in memory of Ms. Lois J. Montgomery Carson. What do we do?
We got a motion?
We have a motion and a second. Can I just call the vote? Any discussion? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did want to add to the resolution that Ms. Carson was the founder of the African American Association of Community College Trustees. If we can add that to the whereases that talks about her organizations.
Will the
Yes.
Will the maker of the motion approve that? Okay, and the seconder approves it?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So with the addition to the resolution, student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
And trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, excellent. Motion passes. Moving on to item C, building dedication in honor of Lois Carson. May I have a motion and a second?
I wholeheartedly move, and I'd like to move this item, and I'd like to make a comment when we get to discussion.
Okay, second. Okay, discussion?
So, Ms. Carson, it's an honor to serve in the seat that she sat in. I feel like I stand on her shoulders. And I connected with Ms. Carson when I was a student trustee. But when I got elected to the board, I was asked to serve as the president of the African American Association of Community College Trustees. And this is a national organization. And, so I reached out to her and she said, I said, they want me to do this. And she was like, the answer basically was like, you have no choice, you have to do this. And then she gave me the history about why she was a part of starting the organization and how at ACCT is the Association for Community College Trustees. And so these are all of the trustees from throughout the whole country. So there's about 2,000 trustees for the United States. And so there was this diversity committee, and they started this association because they couldn't get black trustees to serve on the national board. And she just spent a lot of time explaining to me the history, the importance of service, and why folks like me needed to stand in leadership positions. And she didn't have to spend that time with me to talk to me about this. I mean, she's retired and she gave me so much time. And then there was times she would call to talk to me about the agenda and different things that we were discussing and just give me her feedback and her thoughts. And like folks said, like she wasn't the type of person that you could say no to. And I ended up having to serve 2 years as president because of Ms. Carson. And, because she talked to me about all the things she was involved in. She like, you are a youngster, you can do this. And so, I wholeheartedly support this, and just being able to, like folks said, have a symbol on campus to be able to talk about service. And it's something that our community needs as an example of how we can serve one another and how reciprocity works. And I think that this is a great reward for someone like her. And so, I support this item.
Other discussion? All right, then. Student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. All right, moving on. Item D, board policies for second reading and final approval. It doesn't get more exciting from here, so if you have something else to go on to, no one's hurt if you go. So. All right.
Second.
Thank you. A discussion on board policies for second reading and final approval. All right. Student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, passes unanimously. Item E, Board Orientation Handbook, second reading and final approval. I need a motion and a second for discussion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Okay, item F, to accept resignation and fill trustee vacancy. I need a motion and a second for discussion.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah. Oh, this is the
Trustee
vacancy?
Houston?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
no
ahead.
worries.
Sorry.
I just, in terms of processes and looking up the education code and then looking up the election code, I just wanted to remind the board of timelines that are associated with that. So for a provisional appointment, we would need to be completed, it would appear, and I know attorneys are here, by November 14th of 2021. That's a complete process. And then if the decision is for a special election, the decision would have to be made by January 23rd, 2022, which puts us into an even numbered year, which means the special election wouldn't fall until the first Tuesday of April. So I just kind of wanted to highlight those things that I think, I'm seeing thumbs up, when I went in and kind of did my own kind of search on ed code and elections code.
So you're saying
Okay.
the special election wouldn't happen
Until the first Tuesday of April, because it's an even numbered year that is not divisible by 4.
Okay. But if we do an appointment,
I mean, right? Am I right?
if we appoint, then how does that affect the election if we appoint?
We don't have an election.
But
Well, I
it'd
mean,
still
it
be the
would-
same 2022, right?
Yeah, but yes, yeah.
And
So I guess the point is that if we choose to go the election route, it will be a very long time before the position is filled.
Yeah.
If we choose to go the provisional appointment route, the timeline is very quick. So we will have to act quickly and have a process in place fairly quickly. And the process, could include, things such as posting the vacancy on the website, establishing a deadline for submission of applications, having our human resources branch do the work around the legal qualifications, set dates, have interviews. That would have to that has to happen in a pretty short time frame.
Right.
That's my only point as we're considering which route will work best for the students of our district. I just wanted for us to have that additional information.
Because our vote tonight is to choose a vehicle to make this appointment.
Right,
or-
either
yeah.
provisional or a special election.
Right. I think Trustee Williams had a statement.
Well, I wanted to first acknowledge the service of Trustee Senior, because we also accepted his resignation.
Yes.
And, I wanted to propose that we give him a lifetime membership to the Community College trustees and SBCCD lifetime membership. And then we can look at some type of trustee emeritus status. Oh, I'm
Can you
sorry.
turn your mic on?
Okay, oh, sorry. So, acknowledging Trustee Singer's service, I think he served on our board for 16 years, and he was the president at both colleges. And so I just wanted to make sure that we, acknowledged his service and that he is resigning from the board, and that we honor him by getting him a lifetime membership, because he spent so much time with ACCT. And so there is an option for him to have a lifetime membership. And if we can, I don't know if our policy, or I know we've talked about it before, but if there's a trustee emeritus status that he can have a designation. And there are other districts that have the emeritus status, and, you can decide what that means, but something for us to talk about and look at.
Excellent ideas. Trustee Harrison?
Yes, on the timeline, because the letter of resignation, I think, is September 15th. So the timeline for us to make a decision is, I have a question. The question is, what is our timeline, given that the resignation is as of September 15th?
Please.
Thank you. The timeline would start upon the effective date of the resignation. So it would start in September. And you have 60 days at that point. And I think that's where you got the November number.
60 days.
60 days, yes.
And it seems to me the last time we made an appointment, the span of time for people to submit an application, basically, to be considered for the appointment was a very short,
That was my appointment, and it was very quick.
It was 2 weeks, maybe?
Something like that.
It was a very short timeline on it. So it's possible for us to have somebody in place by November, maybe?
It would have to be.
We would have to.
Yeah. November 15th or
Right.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
So are we voting on the decision about appointing or the special election today, or?
I think the agenda item reads that we are accepting the resignation and choosing the process.
Yeah.
So with that, I would like to make the motion to have the process be a provisional appointment to be completed by November 14th, 2021, with then the leadership team of the district coming back to us in September with timelines and recommendations for the process.
Good.
Now, since these items are together, do we have to take my request regarding Trustee Singer separate, or do them all as one motion?
I think we need to do them all in one motion because it's one item, but I believe it's in the minutes that we're interested in looking into an ACCT lifetime internship and looking into emeritus status. Yeah.
I second Trustee Houston's motion.
Thank you. Is there additional discussion? All right.
Do we need a special session to decide on whether we do an appointment or an election?
No, we
We
just
were voting
decided.
on
We're
that.
deciding now.
We're deciding now.
Yeah,
Yes.
so her motion is
the
an appointment.
motion
Yeah,
is
her motion is an
appointment.
appointment,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay. I don't miss the roll call at all. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is expected to be routine and non-controversial. It will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. However, any member of the board, staff member, or citizen may request that an item be removed from this section for discussion. Are there any items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to pull B1.
B1, that's human resources management job descriptions, correct?
Right.
Other items to be pulled?
B3?
B3, that is human resources appointment of district employees, correct?
Thank you.
All right, other items to be pulled?
C1, please.
C1 is business and fiscal services, business and fiscal services, oh, it's kind of like an echo. Contracts at or above $96,700, which must be magic. Are there other items to be pulled? Okay, then I'm calling for a vote for the consent agenda with the exception of B1, B3, and C1. Student
moved.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
So the consent agenda, with the exception of the 3 items, has passed. Let's take the items in alphabetical order. The first one is B1, Human Resources Management Job Descriptions.
Yes, my question was on the duties. It was, I'm trying to find a page right now. What page is it? I have two agenda books, and so I'm trying to, I didn't. This had to do with the, let's
Up
see.
on your screen.
Yeah. No, that's the Dean of Research and Planning. This is the job description for, I'm questioning the job description for the KVCR director.
It's in there, it's right underneath it.
Okay. Let's see.
They're together. It was the page that you had up.
Yeah, it's right below it.
Yeah. No, not, so
No,
go
that's
back.
planning and institutional effectiveness.
Go back up. So it's the second bullet.
Yeah,
It's
Executive Director and Manager, KVCR?
Yeah.
right. So that job description is in the agenda. Can we have that job description
What
on our
page is it?
screen?
It was in the draft agenda that I had. So where is it in this one?
It's in the addendum.
What page is it?
She's gonna pull it up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is. That's the recommendation. I need it scrolled up a little bit, please, thank you.
No, you
Or
wanna
down,
see, you wanna see the
down.
job
Let's
description?
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't touch it. Yeah, you can't move it. She's controlling it. She's controlling it. You can't move it.
Okay.
There
Okay.
you go.
The section that I was concerned about was an oversight of fundraising activities, fine, and the planning and coordination of distance education delivery systems. But I'm trying to see, where is it? Delivery systems. And it gave, that could include broadcast, satellite, microwave, and other. The only thing that I would like to insert, yes, thank you. The only thing that I would like to insert is that it's for KVCR. I do not want it to give the impression that it's for all distance learning of any kind. It's only that is going to go through KVCR. So I'm only asking for the addition of the word for KVCR.
Yeah, and is there a reason why this person is not reporting to the president and is reporting to the chancellor? Because I thought we moved KVCR to the campus.
And this position, I understand, reports to the vice chancellor, does not report to the chancellor.
Yeah, so how's that gonna work with campus operations and
Yeah,
all of
good
that kind of
question.
stuff?
No, it's a district entity.
Yeah, but no, we moved KVCR to the campus under the
Last
campus
October.
direction, but you know, and I don't have a problem. I'm just wondering what the rationale is. If we move KVCR to Valley College, the thought was that the president would oversee. So
You're
like,
right, we did.
what's your rationale for, you know, having a different reporting structure? Because the goal was for it to be treated like a department at the college, you know, and so I'm just curious of why it's not reported to the president.
If I may, Trustee Williams?
Mhm.
First off, Trustee Harrison, we're happy to make that addition to the
Okay.
job description. Thank you.
And I didn't, until she brought this out, I didn't look at this one before.
That's fine. I believe that in the moving to the campus, there was a 3-year transition time.
Okay.
And so we have a lot of work to do prior to that. So this would be the job description in place and the reporting structure.
Which would
Before it
be
goes to-
likely to change upon the transition.
As we bring forward the plans for KVCR and the development and how we'll move forward, it'll be an inclusive package of all of the employees, reporting structures, and so on.
Okay. Are there any HR implications in moving it from one to another?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know what they are.
The exact implications of that.
Okay.
And so the president will be involved or looped in some type of way as this during the transition? Because, you know, the goal was that this thing generate, or at least for me as one person that was speaking, that this thing generates FTS and that students and, you know, but if it's not reporting to the president, then, you know, that dance, you know what I'm saying? Like the vice chancellor having to figure that out. And so we might want to really flesh that out and really see like how that's going to work.
Okay. All right. Other discussion on this item?
Just a question.
Yes.
Is that enough of a question to maybe table this, or that's just a question? I don't know.
It's a reasonable question. What do you think?
Well,
You guys have to deal with it. She asked the question of whether or not the reporting structure is enough to table this, or is this something that we want to get moving quickly, and therefore with the understanding that it is a fluid process at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might want to accept it and amend later on with this conversation bound to the minutes.
That would be my preference, that we move forward with this item.
Discussion?
Yeah, I don't want to stop the item. Like, this is literally the first time that I read it like that. And just the question that I had as reading this, I don't want to, you know, as long as you take into consideration the comments about, you know, how this was supposed to integrate into the campus, because we talked about the loss of revenues, and my question has always been, well, we don't look at counseling that way, so why are we treating KVCR, you know, and so the president's got to be involved in that in some type of way for it to really, and then the vice president of instruction is going to have to be involved, and so the concern would be if they're not reporting to the campus, then will you be able to get the things done that's needed to get done?
Please.
My understanding, because we are not yet, and we do not have a fully fleshed out plan, is that in the interim, because there is a desire to ensure that KVCR, has the additional funding and the revenue that we really need to make it what we want, that my understanding is the reason at this interim point that it is parked with the executive vice chancellors, because there are some new funding streams and those kinds of things that are going to be incorporated into the plan, and the executive vice chancellor has that kind of big picture view of the funding and how the funding can be leveraged to ensure that whatever the plan is that we see around this transition includes those budget pieces. That's how I understand it based on the study sessions and the things that we've been, looking at with regard to KVCR. So it makes sense to me that it is at this moment parked with the executive vice chancellor. And then my understanding in addition to that is that the executive cabinet does include the campus presidents, and that there's opportunity for the integration of how this plan is developed into the plans and the opportunities for students potentially at both campuses. So to me, the executive vice chancellor, as the general, under the general direction of the executive vice chancellor, provides for an opportunity for it to be more of a district asset, and the viewpoint being from the district perspective rather than a single campus, because my understanding is that there are opportunities for students at both campuses.
Yeah.
So that's why for me it makes sense that it would be executive vice chancellor at this point.
I mean,
I agree.
I'll yield to like the chancellor's recommendation, but what I don't want is to be in a position where we don't have a person that is accountable for we can't continue KVCR the way that we have, and it needs to be very clear who's in charge, who's responsible for making the thing work or making the thing do whatever it's supposed to do, because we've been in situations where folks was like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to manage this, and I don't want to go back there. And so it's got to be very clear who the decision maker is and who is communicating with the board about financials. I've been asking for cash flow statements for years for KVCR, and as we move forward, we just can't keep doing the same thing. It's got to be very clear who's going to be in charge, and everybody should know, and that person should own it. And I would be concerned if I'm the president that you're going to bake the plan and then give it to me, and I'm not involved in shaping it and all of that. I'm just saying my personal, but just I yield to what you want to do with what I'm saying in mind. Let's make sure we're clear on who's in charge.
We just have to make sure we monitor it, but for this transition period, my only concern was that the way it was worded, it made it sound it was all distance learning education, and that's not what the intent was. The intent was strictly the delivery systems at KVCR and what they could produce. So as long as that's clear, I'm fine with the transition going to the vice chancellor, and it's up to us to keep the vice chancellor in line.
That's what I'm
And
saying. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, because we have not done a good job of doing that,
But
and
we are
so.
going to do it in the future.
Hey, listen, look, if I don't say what I don't say, I can't sleep at night. So,
Exactly.
like I'm saying what I need to say.
Yep. Well, it actually isn't even our job to do that. It's our job to keep the chancellor, to make sure the chancellor does that.
That's right, I keep
Yeah.
forgetting. Sorry.
Right. So with all of the discussion in mind and a motion and a second, do we have a motion and a second? Yeah, because we discussed it. And a motion and a second on the board. If I don't write it down on Zoom, I don't know what I'm doing. Then I will call the vote on human resources, item 1, management job descriptions. Student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the motion passes with all appropriate notes. All right, moving on to item B3, appointment of district employees.
This one was regarding, we're hiring an executive director for the EDTC. And I just wanted to, is that the item? That's not it. Was that in the addendum or
Might be the end of my addendum sheet.
an interim? It was the interim. Oh, you know what? It was the interim appointments.
Uh-oh.
So the request was just to have a future item where we can get an update on EDTC. We haven't talked about it in a while. We're getting a new director. And if it's not too much to ask, if we can, like, I don't want to just the warm and fuzzies, but like, what are the challenges? What's going well? What are the priorities? What are our key performance indicators? Like, if we can get that kind of update about, I don't want to only just hear about the great stuff that they're doing, but just where they at, where we at, and then is the Inland Futures Foundation still part of that? And, it's been a while. I don't know if that's connected anymore, or can we just get an update since we're bringing this new person in?
That'd be great. All right, so that's additional discussion. On B3, we still need to vote though, correct?
Yeah, and I move approval.
Second,
I'll second.
thank you. So on B3, appointment of district employees, student trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so B3 passes. Moving on to C1, business and fiscal services. Contracts at or above $96,700. You had discussion, Dr. Houston?
Do you want a motion
Oh,
first?
oh, yes, please. You want a motion?
Can somebody else make the motion?
Sure, I'll motion. We need a second for discussion.
Why'd you pull it?
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
pulled it.
Yes.
No, I
Oh.
pulled it, but I don't want to make the motion because I'm not going to vote. I'm going to abstain.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, second.
So,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
so the discussion is,
Yeah.
there is a contract that is with the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. So
Okay, so thank you for making that clear. So we did have a motion and a second.
Chancellor Rodriguez. Couple things. If she abstains, we have to table it because you don't have
No
enough
quorum.
trustees. You don't have quorum.
Oh.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so we have
However,
to table it and bring it back next.
Yeah. it
The
is-
whole thing or just that one
Yeah.
item?
Does she have to abstain? She works for that place. She's not an owner, but she works for the county superintendent of schools.
I don't want to give legal advice like this, but I'll tell you, I think your initial instincts were correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're only tabling
just
just
tabled
that one item, not the whole, not everything?
Just the one needs to be tabled.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so with the understanding that for C1, contracts at or above $96,700, the one item for Dr. Houston's employer will be moved to the next meeting. They're gonna love you over there. Yeah. so- Yeah. That is correct. All right. And everything else in that particular set of contracts would be approved for payment. Okay, good. Excellent. Student trustees, on that matter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Trustees, how do you vote?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Thank you, with one abstention. All right, we are moving on now with 2 reports. First is board committee reports. Trustee Harrison, do you have a report on the finance committee?
We had a wonderful session.
We did.
We actually did. A lot of information. And I think the most interesting one was the whole thing, and you will be getting an executive summary of what we discussed. And part of it was a survey of all of our assets. The assets being properties that the district owns, whether it's the Crafton campus, the Valley campus, district offices that we have. And it's like it's an assessment of the condition of the assets, the buildings, and each one was rated. We were presented with all of the background information as to how they were graded and the system used and the grading process. And so every single building that is in our district has a rating. It could be good, fair, or on the point of collapse. But we got an overall good health in the sense that most of our buildings are in good shape. And of course, some of the buildings that have are more, how can I put it, that are of concern will most likely be those that we are going to either tear down for other buildings or that we are going to refurbish and remodel or repurpose. So it was a very good discussion and very good presentation of a lot of data. And the rest of the board will be getting an executive summary of that report. So if you wish, you can get all the data also. But if not, you will get an executive summary. We also had an enrollment report. And so that discussion was basically on where we are given COVID-19, where we are as far as drop of enrollment, and that affects, of course, our FTS. And so a lot of, oh, I'm sorry. Nobody was listening? How come you didn't tell me that?
I can hear you.
Oh, my gosh.
I can hear
Everybody
you.
over there was looking so like, yeah, go,
I can
go,
hear
go.
you, but it's just better.
And I don't have my mic on.
It's
Thank
better.
you.
It's better.
But anyway, it was a good discussion, and there's some work to do, some planning to do as to how do we get our students back, what kind of support do they need, and we will be getting an update on that, a constant update at our finance committee. As you know, FTS determines exactly what kind of funding we get from the state, so it affects our bottom line. We also had a very good workforce report, and that is in keeping with our policy that we passed several years ago as a board, and that is the emphasis on hiring local firms and providing job opportunities for our people in our region. And so we had a very good report, project by project, as to where the employees came from that worked on that project, and our percentages are way over what we had we had put down in some cases, 25%, sometimes 50%, and we were in good shape. I think the only area that we need a little bit of work on, it is veteran-owned businesses, but we will be looking at that. And we have good workshops that are out there and good outreach, so that was good. And of course, anybody interested in that report, any of the board members who were not at the meeting, I think we should make that report also available along with the summary on the condition of our buildings. We did not, we also received on our commercial property performance, our vacancies, we are down by 1%, a little bit over 1%. But those are, that includes this building and two other buildings that are owned by the district. Several other buildings owned by the district as to their occupancy. And so we're down a little bit, but that revenues from those buildings, the leases from those buildings, make possible funding for other projects. So you will be, as all the board members will receive the executive summary on the deferred maintenance, and we will also be getting the P3 enrollment report so that everybody can look at it. And I congratulate the campuses on all the hard work that they're doing on trying to get our students back and trying to make sure that we keep our students. Student retention has become very, very important. So I think that covers most of what we did. It was, and of course, as you noticed, I wear glasses. So the only request that I made, yeah, some of you wear glasses too. The only request that I make is that some of these reports be in larger print, especially the datas, because some of those reports are in very small print. Either that or you're going to see me with my magnifying glass going like this. So, and that is not a pretty sight. So thank you very much. Are there any questions? We will constantly, on our agenda, will be the enrollment report. That will be a constant that we will be monitoring closely. Our workforce report, and next time, hopefully, we'll have time for the PARS report as to how we're doing with our investment for our retirees. Thank you.
Thank you. The other committee of the report is the board is the legislative committee, but they did not meet this month.
No.
Do either of my colleagues have a report?
Yeah, I do.
Sir?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to commend the district team for the work that you're doing around textbooks and the program that you just promoted. I got, a great response from, folks about the textbook program. Several trustees reached out asking, how are you guys doing that? At the Board of Governors, July the 16th was the deadline to submit legislative and budget requests for the 2022 cycle, and the chancellor's team worked with me to submit a proposal on textbooks specifically. And so the premise that we're working from is like when you go into the restaurant, you expect that the tables are clean. When you enroll in a community college class, it should come with a book. And so we're asking the governor and asking the legislator to support making sure that access to textbooks are available when you take a class. The 3 proposals went to the consultation council today, and so hopefully to get feedback, and then it'll cycle through its process, and then it'll come back to the Board of Governors for approval. And so the Students' Senate of the state, they're part of the proposals, and then there's a legislative group that also submitted a proposal. And so hopefully, we'll get, some positive feedback of what that could look like for the state and how textbooks could be available for students when they enroll in classes. We're not asking that the textbooks be free for students. We're just saying, like in the K-12 system, as a result of the Williams Act, your textbooks should come with your classes, and it's a basic need of students. We're addressing affordability, equity issues, and so we're hoping to get some good feedback from the consultation council. So great work on the model that you all have, or that we have in the district. There are not many districts that are doing this, and so you're at the forefront of, and even Pearson and a couple of other publishers just came out with programs where they're offering subscriptions services for their books, and you get access to books. And so this could be the future of where textbooks go. We don't know what's going to look like. And so I know a couple of months ago I asked for feedback from the consultation council here about what your thoughts are on how we can do textbooks. But, good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Houston?
Just a quick report on the San Bernardino Regional Emergency Training Center. As you know, I sit as a trustee representative on that JPA board. We've been meeting, since I've been for the past 3 years now, going on 3 years, as a JPA, and planning for the future. So just by way of just background, the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, sponsored the ARF Center, which stands for Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting Training Center, that was built give or take 20 years ago, and the FAA support for that was a 20-year funding. So we're at the point now where some decisions are starting to be made, because we're down to the last 3 years under the FAA sponsorship. So we'll be engaging in some strategic planning over the next couple of weeks. And as a result of that, I imagine there'll be deeper reports and deeper discussion with regard to this board related to the San Bernardino Regional Emergency Training Center and our participation as a JPA member. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on. Chancellor's report and key performance indicators.
Thank you. Day 11. Yeah. First off, again, I
He's
want
so
to...
happy he's not in there anymore.
Standing ovation over there.
Again, I just want to, thank the Board of Trustees for entrusting me in the leadership to work with you to lead the district forward. So thank you all. Again, I truly do appreciate it. In the 11 days that I've been here, I have been meeting with numerous community members, talking about opportunities for our students and how we can partner together to uplift our community. Look for more to come with that. I want to thank Trustee Williams for mentioning the Books Plus program, and give special thanks to Executive Vice Chancellor Torres for negotiating the contract with Follett so that literally thousands of students will have textbooks available to them on the first day of classes. And also thanks to the campuses under the President's leadership for implementing that process. It was a huge lift a couple of weeks before classes start, but they got it done. And so I'm very thankful for their efforts in that area. Ashley, I had the opportunity today to attend the services for Miss Lois Carson. And I want the group to know that here is that everyone that came to the mic to speak spoke about how much she cared about this district, cared about San Bernardino Valley College, cared about the district. There was a lot of expressions about what she's done, not only for the community, not only for the African American population, but also for women, particularly within this district. For myself personally, I remember my first encounter with Ms. Carson. It was at a foundation board meeting. I thought she gave all of her time to our foundation. But I remember sitting next to her, and there was a very, very challenging question that I had to pause on. And she reached over and took my hand and put her card. And this is the card in my hand. And she said, we're not brain surgeons. Decisions don't have to be made on a dime. So I carry that with me whenever tough decisions come, that we don't have to make them right away, so that we're thoughtful about them. So that is the end of my report. And we have employees here that are happy to answer any questions on the key performance indicators, if there's any from the board.
Board members, any questions? Well, you lucked out tonight. Okay. All right. Moving on then. San Bernardino Valley College Academic Senate. Davina Birds-Peters. So nice to see you guys in person.
Yes. Let me see if this is it supposed to turn on. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fabulous. So yeah, so nice to see everybody in person. This is the first time I've stepped into the boardroom here at the district in person ever. So, and what a night to be here. So if you don't know me, I'm Davina Birds-Peters, the current Academic Senate President for San Bernardino Valley College. I continue to say current because I'm sure it won't be forever. But what a night to be here. So I just wanted to start my report with, as unfortunate of a need to express such accolades of Lois Carson. It's a great reminder as educators about the hard work that we do and that we should be doing. And it really leads to the theme that we've had this week in the conversations with Academic Senate and our faculty. And it inspires me. I will never have a building named after me, but if I can do just a glimmer of that work, I would be more than honored. And I also want to recognize the board for their motion and engaging in that trust partnership that was presented to you as part of the conversation and the open comments, and recognize that this is a big move. And I really want to express my appreciation for that. So yeah, good to be back in person. I don't know why I'm so nervous tonight. I'm never this nervous talking in public. I usually take it on like a bull in a china shop. But anyhow, it's good to be back. It does bring excitement, right? There's excitement in the air for the faculty. Having been back on campus for the last couple of days, there is excitement in the air. There's also a sense of trepidation, as you can imagine, and uncertainty. However, the leadership so far this week has really expressed support for us as faculty. We're seeing the same from the board, and we appreciate that, and we look forward to that continuing. And so just the report is really pretty brief. We've just started our semester. We're just looking forward to the work to be done. Actually haven't really started. We're just gathering together as a unit. We did gather this week, and one of our first sessions was to take a look at the work that we are doing, specifically some of the committee work that we're doing, which is our contractual obligation as faculty, and looking at it through a lens of community, and looking at a lens of engagement, and a lens of how can we be better stewards of the time or of the resources of our campus and of our district, and one of those resources being our time and our energy, which is finite. So we're looking forward to the work ahead on that. And tomorrow we have a presentation coming as part of our opening day that will focus on care and compassion with ourselves as faculty members as we return after experiencing what we've had for the last, I'm going to say, a couple of years now, and as well as for our students. And so really looking forward to that presentation and how we as faculty members can continue to engage our students with care, compassion, and support for them, as well as ourselves in that process. So with that, I'm just going to leave it with we're excited to be back and looking forward to working towards the mission of the district as well as our campus. Thank you.
Thank you. San Bernardino Valley College Classified Senate, John Fife.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Chancellor Rodriguez. It's good to be here in person. First time I've been to the boardroom also. I took over as Classified Senate President July 1st of 2020, so we were obviously in the COVID protocols at that time. The report for tonight is just to let you know that classified staff is excited to get back to the business of educating students and running the educational institution the best we can. We're looking forward to reestablishing our input into the committees, both on the district level and the campus level, to kind of get that unity happening again. And we're also looking forward to maybe have some more interaction like this, one-on-one, to build some of that camaraderie, to especially get that good feeling that we have when we come back to work. They're not only our friends, they're like our family when we're passionate about what we do. So we're really looking forward to that coming up in this semester. I know there's still some fears out there for people coming back. But I think for the most part, we just want to express our gratitude for the Board of Trustees, the previous interim Chancellor Jose Torres, the new Chancellor Diana Rodriguez, for doing what they could to support the classified staff during these challenging times. Also extending not only classified staff at Valley, but we also recognize the presidents of the college campuses, what they have did, and incoming interim President Scott Thayer, also as the Vice President of Student Services, did many things to keep the campus going and being fluid. And we're noticing that as we're coming back. And we're noticing that in the viewpoints of the students, which I see a lot of as I'm moving around campus. This is kind of my work attire, basically setting up technology. You never know what you'll be doing. So I'm around campus on the golf cart. We're being approached by students that are excited to come back, wanting to know the next steps, want to know when they can actually meet with people in person. And I really noticed one of the big things yesterday is the welcome back event. I'm not sure exactly what the title was yesterday, but you could see just the sense of community of the classified and other people getting out there just to see the interaction of people, just to be part of something again. So again, we're excited for this coming semester. Hopefully nothing with COVID puts us, take a step back. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. San Bernardino Valley College Associated Students.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. Congratulations to Anna Rodriguez on her chancellorship. I feel very blessed, honored, and grateful to be here to address everybody in person. My name is Paul Del Rosario. I am the current president of the San Bernardino Valley College Associate Student Government. Over the past summer, we've been having meetings, learning the basic policies and procedures of running a student government, learning how to represent our students and be the voice of them on to the administration to handle their concerns and issues and what they like to see improvement. Yesterday we had our, first of all, I'd like to point out that we're blessed to have the return of 3 past AHG members to help guide us in the current year. Sophia Zamora, our Vice President of Finance. Anita Valdemia Hinnick, who is our current Vice President of Senate. And Bridget Pierce, I don't know how I could forget her. Yeah, her knowledge is very very helpful in helping us get started. And yesterday we had a great turnout of students interested in associate student government, wanting to be involved in campus and help us out. And today we had a second training day session where we learned about our committees. In fact, this past Monday, I was privileged to be a part of the San Bernardino Valley College Scholarship Foundation to help, do the good work that, continue good work that the foundation's done. In fact, I myself, I'm a film, TV, media major, and I was blessed to receive the Daniel Linnick Scholarship and the Diane Dusick Media Producer Scholarship. And, I hope to, continue to be involved in that and, help my fellow students out with that. And, we have, the school has with the speakers, earlier, we have a history of, like people like Lois Carson blazing trails and breaking barriers and, breaking generational curses. And, I hope, with student government and, with Elena, that we can, that we can accomplish a lot to help, help our students. We have a high bar to reach. And just want to say happy birthdays to Dominic Garces and Brianna Navarro. They're two students who made an impact on me and when I was in the film, TV, media program. They both have great leadership skills, and they were doing great in guiding our productions on KVCR when we were doing our local Valley episode 2. And I don't know. I'm not too good with these things. So I hope to accomplish a lot. Well, we hope to accomplish a lot, and thank you to Joseph Williams for advocating for the free textbooks for the school semester. It's gonna, I think that played a key role in our turnout yesterday for students wanting to come back to campus, and for the rest of the trustees for approving that. And yes, thank you.
Crafton Hills College Academic Senate, Randy Bayless. I didn't think everyone has masks on. So, okay. But sometimes somebody speaks for somebody else, so I wanted to be sure. Crafton Hills College Classified Senate, Alice Haka. All right. Crafton Hills College Associated Students, Maddie Boone. All right. Where are your people?
I think we have somebody filling in for Maddie.
Excellent, okay.
I believe I'm filling in for Maddie Boone today.
Please.
So, good evening. Is it on? Yeah, okay. Good evening. My name is Madeline Gonzalez, Honorable Trustees and Chancellor. So, I am proud to say that I am this year's elected Chief External Affairs Officer for Crafton Hills College. I'm extremely nervous, if you couldn't tell. So, to start off, a little bit about myself. I'm a biology major. Love Crafton so far, and I think this position offers a great foundation for my future in the medical field. So to begin with, my report to you guys will be on July 18th. I participated in a small bylaw committee meeting where we elaborated more in depth about the current standing bylaws as well as some potential amendments that could be made, primarily about the attendance policy. We found that a few demands of the attendance policy were a little strict and almost excessive, like the limit that members are allowed only 2 absences their term. So we made note to make possible amendments to those. As well, on July 22nd, I attended my first Student Body Association meeting, and that went amazingly. We discussed some potential volunteering opportunities, primarily with the DSPS program, as well as providing support and help toward their annual event. And furthermore, during that meeting, we also took part in discussing potential club rush dates, as well as analyzing a perfect date to host such an event. and that was going to be we took into consideration some recently requested data from the Research and Planning Office. So with that being said, we discussed some potential dates for the club rushes. And with all that, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. CSEA, Cassandra Thomas.
Good evening. 2 days ago, someone told me, I told them I was going to report to the board, and they said, "Oh, isn't that in person now?" And I said, And I was dreading it all day. And it's the nervousness that everybody's, you haven't been in front of people in a while. It's easy sitting in my kitchen in the Zoom meeting with pants on, I swear. So when I was sitting down and listening to everyone and talking about the dedication, hearing the crowd interact, people laughing at the jokes, I miss it. It's so nice. Had my first in-person meeting this last week with all the lab techs, got to know my new dean. I personally am very excited to be back on campus and to be here too. At first I was dreading it, but now I'm actually happy to see you guys in person. So the problem is I did have my COVID-20. It's more like 40, I probably got about. But I'm working on that. Thankfully we got the stipend so we can get some more clothes. Because we can't fit into our old ones, a lot of us. It is. It is exactly what I was thinking when we did the stipend. I was like, oh, good, I can buy pants. I wanted to say goodbye to Don. Is he going to be here next time? Do we know? No?
We'll share your sentiments.
Yeah.
Well, I will say to the chair. No, I'll say to Don. Don and John have been on the Board of Trustees since I started reporting back in 2010, 2011 for the Classified Senate. And I was going to say goodbye, and you can tell him goodbye for me. I know we didn't always see eye to eye, but he did a lot for this board and this community, and I wanted to recognize that and hope that everything's okay, and that that this will just be a new chapter for our district. One thing when I was getting ready for work this morning, I was thinking about what I was going to say today, and I started thinking about who's in charge right now. We have a female chancellor. We have a female chair of our Board of Trustees, Diana. We have a female head of our Human Resources. We have a female, Meredith McLaren, who's in charge of our CTA. And myself, who is female, who is in charge of CSEA. We have a lot. I don't know if it's not all, but most of our executive leaders, whether elected or employed, are female. And of course, we have our clerks and our vice chairs. It's phenomenal. It's not something that really clicked with me until I started thinking about it, but we have an all-female group. So that's exciting to me. So I just wanted to, I don't know if anybody realized that. Nothing to the guys, you're cool, Jose. But just having that, it's inspiring. It's inspiring for anybody who would like to go into leadership who's female and maybe doesn't feel that their place is in leadership, but it is. So I wanted to make my last discussion. I want to make everything nice in the beginning, but I do have a little bit of an issue that I do want to bring to you. I don't know if you guys know, we just did of course you did the resolution, that Juneteenth was just created a federal holiday. Juneteenth, the National Independence Day, long awaited and overdue. It was created on June 17th as an act of legislation that was signed in by the President Biden. So it's the first time it's happened in my entire lifetime that we've had a new federal holiday. So the first thing I did was I got on the phone with my labor rep and said, is this going to be one of our holidays? And if by all accounts, by the interpretation of our contract, that it should be, and that we are pursuing that. So we've asked to have Juneteenth be added to our academic calendar. And one reason why I thought it would be low-hanging fruit is that it wouldn't affect our academic calendar. This would be a holiday that would occur during the summer when there are no classes in session except for summer school. So it can be worked around. It's not like other holidays that may impact classes heavily, this one doesn't. We presented it on July 20th. We were told no. We are not going to add Juneteenth to one of our paid holidays as a paid holiday. The main reason that we were given, there was 3 reasons, but the main one was that the Juneteenth Independence holiday has been established by way of legislative act. So there's a distinction, according to the district, that a holiday that's created by a legislative act is different than one that's created by an executive order, according to this rationale. I was able to do a little bit of research, and I found that the following holidays were also created by legislation: Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day. Those are all federal holidays that are holidays for our district. So I don't, this is not a good enough reason. And I don't think that it would hold up. We are going to be pursuing it ourselves. We're going to open 12 up, which is our holiday article, to add it. And we'll be negotiating that over the next few months. We have, that I know of, 2 K through 12s. Community colleges are working on it, but we have at least 2 K through 12s that have added this holiday to their holidays. So either through their contract or settlement. So those are happening at other institutions. So it's not unprecedented. That would be Banning and Moreno Valley. Without recognition of this being a paid holiday, the consensus from the people that I talked to on our team feel that this is an empty gesture. You have acknowledged Juneteenth, but we're not going to make it a holiday. We're just going to say it's there and thank you for being there, but we're not going to acknowledge it. Please, I ask you to do the right thing and add Juneteenth, National Independence Day, to our district's official list of holidays, like Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day. That is all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. CTA, Meredith McLaren. Police Officers Association. Valley College president. And you know, on the paperwork I got, the words Diana Rodriguez are sitting here. But that doesn't seem right to me. So how about interim president, Dr. Scott Thayer?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to say thank you to Chancellor Rodriguez for your confidence in serving this position. I'd like to thank the board and the district leadership as well. I'm looking forward to this opportunity and really excited about continuing the work of Chancellor Rodriguez. Valley College is a campus of great passion, and if I could add, I think, Casey, just let me add a few names to your list of strong women leaders on our campus. Looking at the second row, we have our current Academic Senate President, Davina Burns-Peters, our past President, Dr. Celia Houston, our Vice President of Instruction, Dr. Dina Humble, and Dr. Joanna Oxenden. I know, Casey, you were mentioning, and I think it's such a powerful statement that we have such powerful women in this district. But I did want to acknowledge them too, because they're here, and I just appreciate having the opportunity to be reintroduced to everybody and in my role. This is my 5th year, going into my 5th year with the district, and so, you know, Valley College is just a great place to be, and thank you, Kevin, for being such a warm host as I'm learning this new role. So I just wanted to start with that. And I hope you can hear me through my mask as a double filter, so it's keeping me safe, I think. I just want to give a couple updates from the college. You know, we talked about a student, I think it was at the last meeting, we talked about one of our students who went to Broadway through the support of, through our foundation, and that student had also had an opportunity, Anna Perez, to actually audition on Broadway. And so I wanted to bring that up because that's a big deal for one of our students to have that exposure and just be in front of people that could really change their life. And as we know, Broadway is the pinnacle of that. And she was accompanied by one of our faculty members, Melinda Fogel, who went to New York to be there in support. So I wanted to acknowledge that our faculty are doing big things. They're doing really big things. You know, another example, Dr. Jeff Dembski, he will have his book published very soon. And that book came out of a manuscript that he completed during his sabbatical leave. If you recall, a few years ago, he came to the board and did a presentation about his sabbatical, and now that work is moving into becoming a book. So I think it just shows the work and the quality of the district, the faculty that we have on campus. And I did want to also mention it was nice to see students on campus. I was fortunate yesterday to welcome our students for New Student Welcome Day. We had the auditorium full, kind of, right? We had a good number of students who were in attendance with parents as well. We were able to welcome them back after 18 months of being remote. So we're excited to see the buzz again on campus for our students and the families that are excited to actually get going again. So that's happening at Valley. You know, we're in the midst of Convocation Week, and so we have our opening day tomorrow. So we look forward to kicking off the semester all week. You know, our faculty have had the opportunity to participate in workshops, events, activities. We want to acknowledge the work of the Professional Development Committee and everything that they're doing to make sure that we start the semester off on a good note. And I guess I'll conclude with, we had an opportunity this morning on our campus to host the Young Women's Empowerment Foundation. Dr. Gwen Dowdy Rogers, Senator Connie Leyva, representatives from Assemblymember Gomez Reyes' office, and Julio Figueroa from AT&T, as well as Chancellor Rodriguez. And they presented a $20,000 check to that organization to support the digital divide for those young women. And so it was just nice to be able to host that type of event on campus, and the partnerships that we've created and will continue to support. So with that, I'll say that will be, I'll conclude, but just wanted to say we look forward to the beginning of a new adventure as we open the fall semester.
Thank you. Crafton Hills College President, Dr. Kevin Horan.
Good evening, trustees. I would just like to thank the friends and family of Lois Carson for sharing their experiences. I'm new to the Inland Empire, relatively new. Still, you know, if you're under 10 years here, you're new. And I have to say that when I shared on my Facebook page the news about Lois Carson and forwarded the post on, I had a colleague from Northern California who's lived in Northern California his entire life reach out to me and share comments about how much she impacted his life through her work with the Community Action Agency. And I think that's really telling of just how far her reach went, even beyond the Inland Empire. And Dr. Blackshire, if you're still here, your comments about how we approach our physical structures on campus and that representation really hit home with me, and I really thank you for sharing that as well. Just a couple of small updates. We're really excited about what's happening in fall. Our enrollment is up right now 8% from the same day last year, so we're really excited about the outstanding work that our student services personnel have done and across the board about getting students enrolled, their outreach, the matriculation part. They're just doing an amazing job. and we're seeing the benefits of that. I also want to say Dr. Singer's not here today. He hasn't officially resigned, but our productivity went up the last 2 semesters, and he would have been very happy to hear about our increases in productivity. And I'll send him a note so he can have that data. The last thing I want to share this evening is actually how one of our efforts, thanks to Jose Torres making this a priority for us in cabinet around Books Plus and the free textbooks. I have a little video to share that was on ABC 7 News. This is a little different approach here, but in this video, it's a short story that, ironically, I want to say too that one of the other people featured in here, you're going to recognize one of them is Dr. Delmy Spencer, but Dr. Francisco Rodriguez is the other person, and Francisco Rodriguez was my mentor in 2007 when I was thinking about pursuing executive leadership positions, and here we are, our 2 colleges in the same news story. So Roger, if you wouldn't mind hitting play.
To making sure students, teachers, and parents are prepared to go back to school. Enrollment is down at California community colleges. Inland Empire reporter Leticia Juarez explains many schools are offering incentives like free tuition to get more students to enroll.
California community colleges are preparing to welcome students back to campus after shuttering its doors for nearly a year due to COVID. At Los Angeles Valley College, an enrollment fair hoped to attract new students.
Enrollments are down for California community colleges, so this is a way to signal that our doors are open.
Open and offering students a chance to get a higher education for much less than they would expect. According to educationdata.org, California has the least expensive in-state community college tuition at about $1,300. But under the state's Promise program, some students can qualify to have their tuition waived entirely.
LAVC, through the Promise program, has given me the opportunity to save a lot of money while pursuing what I want to do later in life.
In the last 2 decades, the cost of tuition at the average community college in the U.S. has risen 46%, which is less than the 76% rise among public universities.
It incentivizes students and families to really look at community college.
Delmy Spencer is the vice president of student affairs at Crafton Hills College, which is hoping to attract more students with additional enrollment incentives.
We're going to be paying for the students' books for the fall semester and for the spring semester. And if they take more than 9 units, we'll be able to also give them up to $1,000 in aid.
Beyond affordability, a community college can help students reach their future goals.
I feel like I could get an associate's degree in medical studies here as a medical assistant, and then afterwards I could transfer to a university. I'm considering something like CSUN.
California is also an affordable option for out-of-state community college students with an average tuition of a little over $7,000. That's when compared to Tennessee's out-of-state tuition cost of over $17,000.
So that's my report.
Thank you. Very good. All right, that concludes the reports. The next item on the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Williams?
Yeah, Dr. Singer, I talked to him today. He is very active on Facebook, so you can reach him on Facebook. He mentioned that to me today. I'd like to go to my city council and talk about, like, is there something that I can go, because it's televised, and I don't know how many people view it, but, like, can you give me something to where I can just talk about, like, come back to school or go say something to them? Can I do that?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. And I thought like, if we should figure out how to blow those, like, we have a TV and radio station.
Yeah, we do.
Like, how do we blow it up and really, get it out there to people, like, on our own? Like, how do we,
Day
That's
12
good
will
stuff.
be busy.
Good stuff.
My strategy is to show them at board meetings, so thank you.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah, of all the campuses, I think, of the districts, I truly think that ours is the one that should have the most information out there, as we have the KVCR sitting right there.
Hey, have we asked the LA school to change their name? It's too close. What's going on?
Yeah, can we do something?
I'm
about that?
kidding. It's a joke.
I'll text Francisco tonight.
Yeah, say much. Like, I feel like you're infringing.
Well, thank you everyone for your reports. Next item on the agenda is information items. Are there any information items that anyone would like to discuss? Not hearing any. I will then announce the items for closed session. We will leave here, go into closed session, then reconvene, read out any decisions, and then close the entire meeting. But in closed session, we will discuss conference with labor negotiators, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, non-reemployment items, conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated and existing litigation, conference with real property negotiators, and that's what we will do in closed session. Were there any public comments on closed session items? No public comments on closed session items? No? Okay. All right. In that case, I will convene closed session. We will leave. We will come back. We will report out, and then we will close the meeting. For those of you that are leaving this evening, I appreciate your attendance and your reports. We'll see you in person again next month. It'll be so weird. And we thank you for being here. No, somebody passed it down to me. Oh, you know what? I bet we can kind of leave our stuff in here, right? Yeah, we can leave our stuff in here. We're just going in the other room. I'm taking this with me. That's it.
we ready?
So, yeah. So we've returned from closed session and we'll reopen the public meeting. There are 3 readouts, Madam Clerk.
Yes. On August 12th, 2021, the board unanimously voted with 4 board members and 2 absent to take action to approve settlement of workman's comp claim number 462339 with employee number 9475. On August 12th, the board unanimously voted with 4 board members and 3 absent. They took action to approve settlement of workman's comp claim number 1655070003 with employee number 9475. On August 12th, the board unanimously, with 4 board members and 3 absent, voted to take action to approve settlement of workman's comp claim number 541850 with employee number 8380.
Thank you. All right, so.
These go too. No.
Oh, okay. So with the actions read, I'll adjourn this meeting of the board. The next meeting of the board is a strategy session on redistricting, July 20.
Was that the owner?
Nope. It says July 29th, 21, but that's not the next one. August 26th, thank you. So it's a strategy session on August 26th, 2021 at 4 p.m. Correct? Thank you. The meeting's adjourned. Thank
This
you,
goes to-
Dr. Houston. And all that goes back to Stacy.